It's the PC Per Podcast, episode 646, being recorded on September 29, 2021. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm a quieter Brett Van Spoonberg. No, I'm not going to do that the whole time. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not going to do that.
You can find out
NPR voice.
when we go live. Most weeks, Brett, most weeks, you can find out when we go live by signing up at pcper.com/subscribe to be alerted. And you can support the site and this podcast by going to patreon.com/PCPer. Brett, do we have any updates in that front?
You know, we do. We've got two new heroes for the big board tonight. It's Dennis Wardell and Gavin Thomas. So thank you very much, you guys, for signing up. Yay. Yes, really appreciate it.
So do they have a Patreon that we could possibly push?
Oh, interesting.
That would make a lot more money.
That's probably something somebody should start.
Yeah. Patreon.
They'd probably sue though due to the naming conflict, but
probably
heck of an idea. Somebody write that down.
I'm not following at all. Whoa. Okay.
Like, subscribe, follow. Come on, Sebastian.
Yeah, hit the bell.
Jeez.
Hit that bell.
Smash that like button. Smash it.
We're immediately going to go to Laramie, Wyoming. And I have to say, Josh, there's something about this picture. This is different. The color balance is cooler. The lighting is more sophisticated. What's going on
It's
here?
because I'm on vacation and I'm not in my office. I actually took a week off and I shouldn't even be here. I should be just doing something else with my time. But no, you guys are worth it. Sort of. Man. Yeah. Yeah, my office isn't any cleaner, but I do have my tomatoes in. They've gotten big and bushy and got some big old tomatoes hanging from there.
Some red, turgid tomatoes.
Yeah. I actually we have some other smaller ones in the other room because it's getting down now to low 30s in Laramie at night. So we bring them in. And I picked off one of the cherry tomatoes, and it was just so bright and plump, and cut it in half, and just sprinkled a little sea salt on it, and it's just fantastic. Your own fresh produce right off the vine, and it's ripened on the vine, and so it doesn't taste like cardboard, like the grocery store tomatoes. I mean, the big ones here are kind of what do they call that? Not antique. But
heirloom.
Not hereditary.
Heirloom.
And we cut one of those open. It was a very, very different texture on the inside than the regular tomatoes that you get. It was very, very solid. But again, it was super, super tasty. And it's going to make me sad when these eventually just die off. And I will not have any more until fall of 2022. But going along, the picture. This was actually a real buffalo chicken sandwich. As you remember last week, I had to kind of create my own. And obviously the guys in the kitchen, they felt bad for me that I would have to get like a grilled piece of chicken with a side of buffalo sauce that I would slather on there. So they made the own special. So it's buffalo chicken with actual fried chicken breast, which the fry job was fantastic on it. Tossed in their angry buffalo sauce, and then covered liberally with blue cheese dressing and blue cheese crumbles. And let me tell you, it was fantastic. Usually I'm not a big fan of blue cheese, but woof. This combination just was hammering it today. And sadly, they no longer do hand cut fries because they just can't find anybody to work for them. Like every other place around in town, it's bizarre. And so they had to go to a frozen fry group, and not as interesting as the hand cut stuff, but it was still pretty decent. I can't complain. Overall, it was an outstanding sandwich, and I'd have it again.
Videocards.com. It's spelled with a Z. What's that all about? No, that's not what's confusing. If we go to the screen here, right in the headline, it says, NVIDIA RTX 30 Super specifications might be confusing to customers. What else can they
spelled
do with the
upsetting
silicon?
wrong.
I mean, what is there left to do? You've already got the TI. Well, there might be a Super coming. According to Copite 7 Kimi, if that's how you pronounce the screen name, a leaker who, I'm quoting videocards.com entirely here, revealed the specs of NVIDIA Ampere GPUs more than a year before release, so they can be trusted, in theory. I'm not quoting there. I'm adding that. So here's a summary from this Twitter leaker. 3090S?
The funny thing about this is that these
Here's
were,
a summary. I doubt it.
parked in the production queue a long time ago. They can't just suddenly go, hey, you know what? A couple months ago, 6 months ago, we're going to make some supercars. They planned this for a long time. They would never be able to get to production if they hadn't. So,
Oh, right, because they're going to get all the production. They're going to get that production, regardless of when and if they plan this. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They don't just do this stuff overnight. You can't spin up a fab
No.
overnight. You can't create a GPU overnight.
This
Let's look
isn't
at this table.
let's drag out some more, money out of everybody. This has been in the works for a long time.
So a 3090 based on GA 102, 10,496 CUDA cores are enabled. There's more. That's not the
that
entirety
many.
of GA 102. 3090 Super, 10,752. But it moves from 24 gigabytes of GDDR6 to the same 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X. Sorry, there's an X at the end of both of them. So that's possibly interesting. I mean, if they're getting higher clocks out of it, but imagine the power draw. This is the same architecture. What are they going to do? Is this going to be a 400 watt TDP GPU?
Yeah, well, we don't know the clocks, of course, so.
And then 3080 Super is going to sit... I was thinking it would be really close to a 3080 Ti, but according to this chart, based on these rumors, it is actually a lot closer to the CUDA core count of just the 3080.
Yeah.
So it would sit under the Ti. But it would have the same amount of memory as the Ti. It would have 12 gigs instead of 10, which is what you get with a standard 3080.
I think the only value here potentially is the 3060 level, because that's actually a big jump over the 3060 Ti. You can see it's above the Ti.
Oh, I see. So the 3060
series.
Super would have the 12 gigs of a 3060.
Well, that's another good point. So the CUDA core jumps way up. CUDA core count goes way up on a 3060 Super, and it jumps from 8 gig to 12 gigs. So I think the most interesting, reasonable, hey, that looks like a decent card, probably tend towards that one.
How much do you think
It's
it's
the
going to be?
3060 Super.
$599?
What, street or
Technically, it has to be less
MSRP?
than the 3070, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that's 3070 is, I think, officially a $599 card. 3080
$599.
Founders Edition. If you're one of those lucky people, you can get them for $699. Yeah.
How close is that
3070
to the
is
3070?
$499 if you were in the wacky world of MSRPs.
Yeah.
But now
How
just
close
add a
is it?
zero.
Really?
To the
No, I
end
thought that was a
and-
3060 Ti was $499.
That's $399.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know the
It's
prices are all whack.
silly.
And then the 3060 launched at its theoretical...
$339.
Yeah, was it $339? Yeah, something like that. So 3060 Ti has long, like this entire generation has been the price performance leader if you could get it at that price. But unfortunately, it was also the best Ethereum mining card you could buy.
Well,
It was
soon to be
number one
replaced
on the list
by
of
this-
mining cards.
by this one. Look, because it's got more memory, 4 gigabytes of more memory.
But it'll
more
have
cores.
the light hash rate, right? It'll be an LH.
Well, you're right about that.
R.
Yeah, you're right.
Intel
This one's
Arc.
fun.
This is via WCCF Tech. We're talking about the 3 GPUs. I was reading about this the other day. So they're going to have an entry level, a mid, and a high end. Seems simple enough. The top end, 512 EUs, but they're not EUs. Remember, they're execution cores, and 128 at the bottom end. And allegedly, is this actually a real slide? It looks very busy.
No, Josh, this is from your Moore's Law is Dead guy. That's where this slide came from. He's fairly good at kind of figuring this stuff out, and he's got his definitely got some ears in particular places that seem to give him some pretty reasonable information that seems fairly consistently good.
Oh, look, and there's a link to the Moore's Law video about this. So if this ends up being true, we're looking at a product at the high end, which is supposedly going to compete with the 3070 Ti. Somewhere between the 3060 Ti and 3070 Ti.
They look like they're going to be fairly well endowed from the memory perspective, closer to the AMD, 16 gigabytes kind of thing than the NVIDIA 8 Plus.
Well, yeah, it says up to 16 gigs GDDR6, not 6X.
Not X.
Featuring up to 16 gigabit per second, though 18 cannot be ruled out, as per the rumor. So, we shall see. Obviously, we have to wait for actual product announcements, but it would be nice. I mean, this is coming at some point next year.
Now, remember, the interesting thing here is potentially they're making it in their own fab, right? Or are they? Oh, they're TSMC. Sorry.
No,
No.
TSMC.
They're not making
All
GPUs
right.
in their own fab.
Sorry.
Yeah, that
was
totally would kill their margins.
Yeah. Okay.
And they'd be mad.
Any more thoughts on this?
They need to make this in their own fab.
They need to hurry up.
Yeah.
That's why they're building another fab in Arizona, which is seriously one of the worst places you could do because it takes so much water to run a fab. And Arizona is not exactly known for its fresh flowing rivers of water.
They could just truck it in.
I mean, it's got lots of sand.
Get it.
So there's
They should
that.
build here.
Get it.
Look,
But
Michigan is surrounded by lakes.
Yeah.
And just build a fab here.
Yeah,
Pump
but
in that
here's
beautiful,
the thing.
clean water out of our lakes.
yes,
How's your
beautiful,
winters?
clean water from the Great Lakes.
Yeah. Unpolluted,
Well, it's better than it used to be.
pristine.
Hey, did you know there's a shortage of water trucks in Taiwan? Just
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. We've talked a lot about GPU rumors so far in this show. And let's talk some more.
Yeah, I don't know why we
GPU
didn't
rumors.
put this together with the other one.
I know.
It's from the same Z place that we talk
Hey,
about.
look, are we gonna actually
be?
be critical of my indenting style here? Is that what you're doing? That's really what you're doing here, isn't it?
Well, the next story on the list is not from video cards, although the picture has a video cards watermark, but the source
it is from
Technica?
video. Yeah, I didn't want to link to a certain site
Oh,
directly.
I see. Oh, Ars Technica posted about video cards. You probably got it from somewhere else.
No, they got
maybe
it from one of their leakers.
Okay, so
So this is based off of a SKU listed on an online retailer. But as opposed to just being a model number sitting in a list of them, there were actual pictures of the card.
oh, okay.
So there's a little bit more believability to it than some of them. But, I mean, at the same time, it's what they... And the specs were... So it's 8 gigs of RAM, 1792 stream processors, and the same memory interface as the 6600 XT. So that's same memory, same interface, but you're losing a chunk of stream processors on it. And the 6600 XT is like a $380 MSRP. Yeah, I know. And not like you can get it anyways. 1080p card. So this is going to be a slightly cheaper, slightly less powerful 5700 XT. Or sorry, I mean 6600 XT.
Oh, Freudian slip there.
Yeah, just a little slip there. So the price will be somewhere north of $300
what you're
MSRP.
saying. What you're saying is this will be a 5700.
Yeah.
If it's just a little under 57 or 5700 XT, then it'll be the 5700.
Yeah, something like that. I did have to pull out one good thing about this. One, the card itself, if the form factor is correct, it's Wii. And the other is that the one good thing, and you mentioned it in your review of it as well, the power efficiency of the new cards are significantly better. The 6600 XT is 100 watts less pull than the old 5700 XT. So it makes it, more feasible for a small form factor system, for someone who's just, doesn't want to have the huge electrical bills assigned to something that's over 300 watts of power consumption. same time, I mean, geez, $300, 1080p performance, and that's assuming you can get it, because even if it exists, the second that it hits the shelves, it will be gone.
Oh, wait a minute. The
I don't know.
5757 XT, that was not a 300 watt card.
Sorry, am I exaggerating?
Really?
Was it about 260, 280?
I was very surprised by 100 watt savings. So that was the only thing I'm reacting to. 100 watts seems like a
300
lot.
watt TDP cards. They're like 250, I think. But,
Okay.
Close enough. You round up.
Bring up your review.
Round up. Just like
Where
the
was
price.
it? Well, I mean, the price is made up too nowadays. Sorry, the total system that you had on yours was 384 watts. Sorry. And running the 6600 XT, 278.
Okay.
So it drops 100 watts. So yeah, it is significantly lower power, but I mean, yeah, that's I guess what you can expect from the next generation.
It's just
at that level.
Nothing good can possibly happen from any new GPU launch except for availability. So that's what stinks about the Intel stuff, because we're, it's like, third player, more supply, this could be good, and then you realize it's being made at TSMC. So they're all waiting in line at TSMC. So depending on the process and the yields and the other customers in line, and we'll just have to see.
The water trucks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned AMD a moment ago with their possibly upcoming graphics card that's still just a rumor, and pictures which may or may not have just had the XT removed. But who knows? AMD, though, something we can actually rely on. A real number. 16%. That is AMD's server market share, according to Omdia. Omdia?
Impressive.
So it's a Business Wire report. They do a lot of press releases. Click on that.
Impressive.
I hate it when I'm muted.
Oh, sorry, Josh. Take it away, man.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Sorry. No. For the longest time, AMD was aiming for just getting to double digits in the server space, and it took 3 years of Epic before they finally hit that. And now, about a year later, they've already reached 16% and growing. That's nuts. That's it's great for AMD. You really wonder how, like they mentioned there, the component shortage puts second half of 2021 shipments at risk. Are they going to slow down because of that? Because, I remember that story years ago where Dell said, hey, we've got a waiting list for these Xeons. Why don't you get AMD? And everybody laughed. And now it's like, no, we really want AMD. Well, have you thought about Xeons? It's funny how that all works now. Everything's cyclical, but 16% is huge. It's probably the most that AMD has ever had, even during the highest of the Opteron times. They were never able to get up there. It was close at some point, but they just never were. And now they have these really tremendous products. They have full backing of the big cheeses in the market. Their stuff actually works really well, and it's as bulletproof as the Xeon platforms are. It's all roses right now for AMD when it comes to server market share, and we're gonna see this reflected in their earnings and their margins, because again, these are very, very high margin areas with servers. So it's all good news. And Intel needs some competition, and I'm curious to see how will it continue to innovate. We still haven't. I can't remember. Have we not seen the 5000 series Epics? I think only 3000, right? Because I know in Threadripper, It's only 3,000 is the highest.
Let's find
Hey,
out.
Josh, I was going to ask you whether you thought this was more of a rejection of where Intel is at in the server space or a preference for AMD, because I know that a lot of people maybe were being drawn towards AMD or were being sold on AMD in the server space because it was available and it was of higher performance and the pricing was a little bit better. So which is it, do you
Yeah,
think?
I
Do you
think
they're going to
it's
maintain
a
this as
variety.
Intel sort of gets their performance back a little bit? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what the timeline for Intel and their next generation stuff. I mean, we've got some 10 nanometers things out there, but none of the new cores that are coming up later, I think, this year. So it's really muddled and muddy, and we don't know yet AMD's timeline for their next generation stuff on the Epic platform. So it's always a little bit slower there, but they're still rolling. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know.
You're saying that this market share is potentially something that they've staked out that you think they can maintain going toe to toe with.
Yeah, I
Intel,
think they can
where they're
maintain it
going.
and, in fact, possibly grow it. And as Jeremy pointed out, AMD did go up to 25% in the Opteron time. So I was wrong there. Very wrong. 16% is very. Last 10 years, it's certainly the highest, almost 15.
Yeah, go AMD.
But obviously, the benefits of Bluetooth must outweigh its lackluster audio quality using the standard SBC codec anyway.
Are you not familiar with how lazy people are and that they will go for the easiest local minimum and just run with it forever?
Oh, of course, but
Convince themselves of the right?
Bluetooth must at least be secure, right? Because if the audio quality is bad, convenience must be extremely high and security must be high, right?
Yeah.
No, pick two of those three.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
At least now maybe one of those three.
So this is a Hackaday story. A Bluetooth vulnerability. That's what all the snarky nonsense was leading up to. Hey, according to this article, Bluetooth has become widely popular since its introduction in 1999. Yes, thank you for that. Bracktooth?
Brack
Wasn't he
is
the
Norwegian
character
for crash.
from- Oh, I thought Brack was the guy from Space Coast to Coast.
Yeah,
Space
well,
coast
he's
to coast, man.
showing the wonderful artwork that I created for the
I'm
story.
going
Did
to
you
it right
make
now.
that?
Slight PC
Jeremy?
perspective.
Did you make this yourself in Microsoft Paint?
No, I use GIMP.
Oh, okay.
Because because it's from a VHS copy, obviously, so the whites were not anywhere near close to the same. I think I changed
funny.
the.
Okay,
That
this
was
is
pretty
well,
much-
just to let you know, I didn't actually see that you had done Brack. So
I thought you knew when
obviously
you brought it up, Josh.
No, and I was thinking
Uh-huh.
Brack.
You were right.
Brack's
I
hilarious.
thought Josh was showing great teamwork here and really
No,
just great
no,
minds
no,
think
I-
alike.
Like
Yes,
synergy.
Josh and teamwork
Yeah.
go together. I also used Skinny Puppy lyrics for the title, but not many people noticed that.
I didn't
You know,
either.
Jeremy's titling and imagery runs deep. Everyone should
Yes,
take a
it does.
second or third.
And sometimes it's the
Think.
capitalization that matters. He's basically like
It
Mark
is.
Twain. You have to read everything.
I wish.
The punctuation, the capitalization, all of it. Even if it's unconventional, it has a meaning. It's not a misprint. There's a reason there's an exclamation mark in the middle of a sentence. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm doing a be quiet post.
Moving on.
That's fair. That's fair.
Full details are not yet available. The research team is waiting until October to publicly release proof of concept code. So we don't have that yet. Express
Because IoT devices will definitely patch it before then.
Oh,
Yes.
the ESP32 can be fooled into executing arbitrary code. That's wonderful.
Because essentially what it's doing is it's causing it to repeatedly crash, and so eventually after so many immediate crashes, it boots up again into a dev mode. And then from there, it will just do pretty much what anyone asks it to. Including, if you're running a home security system and you're sort of counting on if detect movement will send alarm and that pin gets moved to, we'll just sit there and drool for a while like an English terrier. Yeah, that's the sort of stuff we're looking at. And because this isn't so much the stuff you find in your phones, this is low cost, low power Bluetooth, the ultra low power Bluetooth that are in IoT devices freaking everywhere. So, yeah, if one day all of a sudden your toaster just never pops your toast up again, it'll probably be a Bracktooth.
Oh, I'm thinking of your Bluetooth-enabled door lock. I think that'd be great to crash your house and then just kind of walk in after that.
Or just permanently lock you out.
Oh, sure. Whatever works.
Or lock you in. Even better.
You could probably leave by the window, Zaphoid Beaver Rock style.
Defenestrate yourself?
Defenestration is a word that doesn't have enough use, I think. Even though it's
well, first off, it's illegal at work, I've been told by HR.
To even use the word defenestration?
Well, no, just to sort of explain to someone fully and physically what it means.
Oh, physically, right. Like, what's defenestration mean? Like, come here. Come close to this window. We're only on the second floor. You'll probably live. Modern medicine is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They can
sheet stamp Fenster and all that.
You know what else is amazing?
What's amazing?
The work that
Moving on.
The FPS review is doing on some interesting topics, like this week's study into M.2 performance. Does the M.2 slot matter? I think we already know the answer to this, but it's nice that they're doing some testing. Primary and secondary are not the same, it says. They both claim to have PCIe 4.0 by 4, but the path to get there and the lanes they connect to come from different places. So if you're not familiar with CPU lanes versus chipset lanes, they did some testing, and I'm trying to get...
It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yes. Here's a little diagram of the AMD X570.
Under a lot of use cases, it surprisingly makes very little difference.
Have you ever used an AMD system?
Yes, I find it frustrating.
Use any AMD system?
But strangely enough, he's not wrong.
Anything into the USB ports, or
They largely corrected that, apparently.
yeah. Oh.
Okay. I am trying to find...
And they did it on an F570.
Okay.
But no, the AMD Drift person is actually kind of correct. For a lot of stuff, there is a 3 or 4% difference. There is a difference.
That's what I said.
But look at this, same
Because
drive.
you're making 2 hops. You're making 2 hops instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and plus you've got I/O contention in between the chipset and the CPU, which shares that by 4
Correct. Absolutely.
connection. And so you're going to see some lower performance off of that secondary, but it's still going to be faster than PCIe 3.0.
Yeah, and even just the original generation PCIe 4.0 PCIe SSDs.
Yeah.
We're not doing but the thing is, and I mean, I've already made this argument before, as much as I love the best of the best of the best, the difference in load times between a current generation PCIe 3.0, a first generation PCIe 4.0, and a true new, PCIe 1.4 spec? I can't remember off the top of my head. NVMe 1.4 and PCIe 4.0 by 4. The difference it makes in loading your game will not be noticeable. You will not see it. But if you're doing workload stuff, you will see a huge difference. And that's where the FPS review actually saw it.
Right.
Yeah. When you're doing huge stuff, and you're doing sort of the stuff that, like heavy R processing, video editing and that, then they were seeing like a 10 to 13% difference in performance. So yeah, if you're doing professional usage stuff and you're trying to run 2 of these NVMe drives, don't move your cache over. Don't put that as your scribble drive on the chipset lanes. You want that off the CPU. You will actually notice a difference. For the vast majority of us, the difference between getting a true 7 gigabits a second and sort of getting it, it's not going to make a huge difference. And of course, they didn't even bring in some of the boards we got with the third one. But again, they're going to be the same because it's coming off the chipset. They're not going to be faster.
A commenter had brought up direct storage, and I'm looking that up. It's been in a developer preview since July. Obviously, this is a feature of the upcoming Windows 11.
But it's physical limitation, not software. It's still making 2 hops.
Okay.
And that's without even a bloody
can't-
Plex chip.
Yeah, you can't defeat the switching chips. Yeah, especially with bus contention on the on those 4 lanes to the chipset. So,
But what if... Yeah, I guess not. I guess even if...
Yeah, but you can't stop the signal, Mal.
You can't stop the signal. The other
that
thing I'd
is
love to see
definitely
them
true.
toss in, and I mean, I'm sure this was a nightmare to benchmark, was a proper PCIe NVMe card, like a daughter card that you plug in, which has drives on it, and see what that does. Because I would be curious to see. I mean, I'm assuming it will match about the performance of the primary, but I don't actually know that.
Is there anything more extreme than mining Bitcoin using only nuclear power? I mean, if you're going
It's
to
cheaper.
mine Bitcoin, if you really want to earn one of those...
Because apparently you have to. There's
That
no
you-
alternative other than mining it.
You know, just about a decade ago, they were worthless. And people were spending like 10 Bitcoins to buy a pizza because that was the trendy thing to do for a while.
Yeah.
And now, you know, Bitcoin's been worth over 40,000 for a while. Kind of, it's a different story. The history of Bitcoin explained by me in 5 seconds. But operators of struggling
even if they
nuclear
go-
power plants.
Even if they go nuke, that's going to take clean energy, clean electricity away from other uses. I mean, it's
Exactly.
there's only so much power production we have, and we still have a ton of coal and natural gas fired generation that is going to have to ramp up to take that load. I mean, it's just mining is I'm
Wasteful.
I get
Wasteful
it
all around.
but I think it is wasteful.
But
I
Josh,
think
these
it's
poor nuclear power plants were struggling before. And now look at all the
No,
money
they're
that
building
made.
new ones.
But by the way, look at
This
this.
is
Not
not
very
the
fast.
repurposing ones.
Look at
They're
the
building
ad.
2 new ones.
Talk about like contextual advertising. X Energy Advanced Reactor.
Yeah, I don't know if that's real or not.
That's
Gen
an ad.
4.
Look,
yeah,
visit
well, I know
site.
it's an ad.
I'm following the ad. Oh, XE.
boy.
Hold on, XE.
Oh, Xenon, eh?
This is this
The
is this
XE.
an
Wait, is this
Intel
the-
nuclear power plant?
No, it's that one. It's out of Idaho and Utah, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
a really
modular-
small modular.
Modular. Look
That's
at this.
TeraWolf. Is that TeraWolf? Because that's one of the companies that's building a new one to do this.
But look at this. They're not
Please.
harming the environment. Look at this landscape photo of trees and mountains. They're making the
Just
world
please-
a better place.
Please
That's
tell me
what
I
they're
can have a-
leveling to build the micro
I want
rod
a nuclear
reactor.
reactor in my backyard. Just
Yeah.
please tell me.
So no, I bet
could
you
have a
that's
reactor.
Oklo. I bet you that's Oklo Incorporated, which are one of the ones breeding a breeder reactor in, or building a breeding reactor in Idaho for a brand new mining operation. Because there's 2 of them. Talon Energy is doing an old boiling water power in Pennsylvania. And then Oklo, as I said, is doing one of the newer style breeder reactors in Idaho. And both of them are specifically being built to power Bitcoin mining operations, the large industrial sized ones. Because, if you think you're going to do well with your rig at home, guess what? No, the pros are at it now. That's why they're sort of leveling out the costs.
Even Wyoming, Bill Gates is. There's 4 sites that they're going to try to build a molten salt next generation nuclear reactor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, and I think that the technology shows a lot of promise, and it's not perfect, and they've tried some stuff in the past, but like anything, technology has moved forward, and a lot of these designs have also done better. But with molten salt, you don't have the pressure issues that you do with light water cooled reactors, which of course the water turns into high pressure steam, and you've got to have piping that can handle that kind of pressure and anti-corrosion, because water is, obviously, especially steam, it's
Doesn't like to compress.
really corrosive. Yeah, but anyway,
that too.
yeah. So with molten salt, you don't. It's all one atmosphere. I mean, it's
Like the
just hot,
pebble reactors.
not expanding.
Didn't really catch on, but the pebble reactors were the same sort of thing, where there was literally no way it could go critical, and it did not have the huge pressure and corrosive issues that a lot of the other ones do. Because don't get me wrong, I am for nuclear power. It is one of the cleaner ones we've got that doesn't depend on the weather, but we should be using it for better things than powering that. Or as a shot to my neighbor up here in Canada, they're trying to clean up the way that they extract oil out of the oil sands by bringing in small portable nuclear power plants to
Wait,
power
Canada
the
has nukes?
extraction.
Canada has
Have you
nukes.
not heard of the CANDU reactor?
Wait, so you
Not
guys...
exactly.
The CANDU reactor used to be one of the leading high-tech types of nuclear power plants on the planet.
Well,
Then
that's
we
nuclear
figured out that
power,
someone
not
with a
nuclear...
coating or could turn it into a bomb, and we had to stop doing it. But
All right, I was vaguely
Okay.
concerned there for a
Okay.
second. Okay.
I don't think Canada
All right.
even has an army. But that's fine. They resolve everything by
I
talking
refuse
it
to confirm or deny. I want it to be a surprise.
It's isn't just a handshake and let's go get French fries kind of thing.
out. We should pause right here
Right here.
to hear from this week's podcast sponsor.
Minimize the effort, maximize your productivity with TextExpander. TextExpander helps you work faster and smarter so that you can focus your time on the most important work you've got. Use TextExpander for faster results in 3 easy steps. 1. Create. Make snippets of text for support responses, sales outreach, or even common emails, then save them in TextExpander. 2. Trigger. Just type a few characters and watch the snippet automatically expand your text. Now you can fill in the blank on forms or perform far more complex functionalities to customize your messaging. And 3. Share. Your whole team can take advantage of your saved snippets, making them more consistent, accurate, and current by giving them the right words for every situation. Use TextExpander's powerful shortcuts and abbreviations to streamline and speed up everything you type. Now that's increasing productivity. TextExpander is available on Mac, Windows, Chrome, iPhone, and iPad. Show listeners get 20% off their first year. So visit TextExpander.com/podcast to learn more. That's TextExpander.com/podcast.
We're back, and Jeremy gets to tell us about why do you bring all of this negative security breaches and vulnerabilities? What is it now? What could it possibly be? Please don't tell me that RGB could possibly be bad.
Oh no.
What is this? What is this story?
Your RGBs can be turned against you.
I refuse to believe it. RGBs
The
are
armory
beautiful,
has
but-
been breached. They did the same bloody thing that Origin did and Support Assist from Dell. They decided that, oh, hey, we'll just make a DLL call from program data where anyone and their freaking dog can write to. And we're not going to check whether that DLL is signed or the size of it or anything like that. We'll just load her up and go. And so, yeah, if you were an RGB addict from specifically the ROG Armory crate, unless you have updated, because it only took Asus about 2 weeks to do the update, which is good. A lot of other companies are taking their damn time patching stuff. Yeah, you might be running some random shite other than, the LED controller software that you've got.
Okay, I have to take issue with the registry here. I highlighted the text.
Why? It's a
video.
perfect description.
Quoting the register. The software is intended for use by gamers who put LED lights and customizable illumination all over their hardware. A strange practice from people you'd expect to be gazing intently at the screen instead of the box powering it.
That's too accurate for you?
I mean,
Doesn't it seem dismissive?
it
look
seems
at
a little
what he's
dismissive.
surrounded
Yes,
by.
Brett.
It does.
I forgot to. I have more lights I forgot to turn on. I have like a purple spotlight thing that I forgot to turn on.
Well, have you updated your software that controls it? Because you might want to do that.
We like audio here. We talk about it a lot, ad nauseum sometimes. But there's Razer And I don't know if you know this or not. I don't think this is, apropos of anything, but Razer bought THX a while back. But I don't see any THX branding on these. But it is a 7.1 channel. And, what does that even mean anymore?
It means more if you subscribe to their extra services.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe this, Jeremy.
Oh,
Couldn't believe this part.
No. Oh, there's THX. There's the THX I was waiting for. Spatial audio costs you $10 to $20. Well, of course, Windows 10 has like spatial audio itself, but
great. if you want the Razer spatial audio, you can either get it for $10 as you're buying the headset, or presumably if you bought it within a month or two, or $20 if you don't. But if you want the true audio experience, where you can get a personalized spatial audio experience from the Immersive Hive software, which actually uploads it to the cloud. So no matter where you go, your headset will download and set the exact same graphic equalizer settings that you had anywhere else. It can be yours for the low price of, what is it, about $40 a year?
Yeah, it's like $3.99 a month or something.
Yeah, or you can buy $40 for a 5-year plan.
Oh, it's such a bargain.
$15. But the other part about this is it's not just an immersive audio experience. It is actually a HUD display on your computer while you're playing a game. So that if it detects an audio signal, regardless of the level that it should be, if it's too quiet that you should be able to hear it, while you're playing your first-person shooter, it will all of a sudden give you an indication that, yes, someone is approaching from the rear or the front or around the corner, because it's not listening to human-level audio. It's just, I got an audio input, which is, and if it's one of the games that the software supports, that's a footfall, and it's coming from over there. And all of a sudden, you've got an indicator on your HUD while you're playing that, someone's sneaking up behind you. Because that's not cheating or anything. In any way, shape, or form.
Kind of.
I just can't get past this part that I highlighted here for the audio listeners. The Immersive Hive allows users to customize a 360-degree spatial audio sound profile automatically using a photograph of their right ear.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're left-eared, well, you're just out.
Yeah.
No, it's bizarre. I mean, the base microphone itself, the base headset itself is $100, which is pretty normal. It has a decent detachable cardioid microphone to it. So if you ignore everything else about it, it actually seems nice. But it comes with some baggage that I'm not a big fan of this Razer.
Did you guys hear about Silicon Lottery? And for people who don't know what Silicon Lottery is, it was this place that would buy
like us Canadians?
I mean, I don't know if they served Canada. Maybe.
They did not
serve Canada.
Oh, okay.
They might
well,
not
if you
have.
lived in America, the land of the free and the brave who love their pre-binned CPUs from China and Taiwan and Germany, where do they diffuse CPUs? I guess I'm getting off track. So anyway, Silicon Lottery, they used to overclock and test CPUs and then sell them to you at a huge markup and say that this has been tested to run at this speed and this voltage. Well, they're shutting down. Let's see, a combination of reasons.
Because they're already pre-binned coming out of the factory.
Intel is pushing their silicon as far as they can possibly push it. I mean, all you have to do to get max performance out of an Intel CPU is just disable power limits. And then,
and
whatever its maximum clock speed is, just push it all core. It'll do it.
And just buy the highest end one. Just buy the, whatever 900 series that you can get your hands on.
As long as you don't mind 100 degrees Celsius running temps. Even
it's getting towards winter.
A multi, like a 240 or even a 280 all-in-one liquid cooler. As long as you don't mind that, you can run this thing completely unencumbered.
But you'll go from multi-core to molten core.
I was going to suggest a larger AIO, actually, than just a 240.
Yeah, it used to be that 240s were good. Like, back in the day, 10 years ago. It was, do I need a 240 or can I get by with a 120? Oh, no.
Well, what were you dissipating? 200 plus, 250, 200 tops?
Then or now?
Because, then.
Now we're just in a different
Wasn't that much.
stratosphere. We're not in the 95 watt TDP CPU world anymore, and that's 125 with a wink and a nod because it's really
Yeah, that was-
200 plus.
It's amazing. And yeah, I mean, Intel and AMD build so many structures in their CPUs that allow them to run at a more optimal speed, in terms of power gating and all those other things that really help to get a more homogeneous type performance out of their silicon. And yeah, Intel's got the K series die, AMD's got their X. In fact, their 5000 series are all X. So yeah, I imagine it was just getting harder and harder, and the reason to go with them is just there is none. I mean, you may find a couple that'll have slightly better overall performance, but like Sebastian said, you just pick that high clock all core and let it loose, and make sure you have good enough cooling, and they all just kind of sit there. It's interesting. It's interesting
But
where
there's no
they
business.
can push silicon. Yeah, there's no.
Yeah.
It's not a business here anymore. Yeah.
It's just overclocking in general just isn't that exciting. The exciting overclocking stuff is always liquid nitrogen, right?
The days of the old Celeron.
And even then, that's not exciting at all. I mean, have you watched those guys
Because
overclock that
it's
stuff?
not accessible. It's boring, really. It is, but it's not accessible to the rest of us. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we
the
can't-
whole
we can't-
process is boring too.
Way back in the day when Ryan was doing the QuakeCon, we had EVGA go up there and doing overclocking with liquid nitrogen, and it was like seriously 30 minutes of them just rebooting, heating up the copper thing with after a
Blowtorch.
failed run, they do the blowtorch. And everybody's just sitting there like, are you going to show us? No, it's awful. Yeah. It's an awful experience watching the
Don't
extreme
you want to watch somebody
overclocking.
screw around for
Well, and the
hours
big
to try to
reveal
get-
is, oh look, it's 3D Mark. Hooray!
Look, I got
Yeah,
one
we were getting
core.
one run in.
One core running at 7 gigahertz, guys.
It's not even just the CPU cores. They're also tuning a half a dozen memory parameters as well.
Well, of course,
So
yeah.
there's
'Cause
a
you're
lot
trying
of
to break
it.
those
I mean, not
records.
even Johnny Shee would save that. He'd be up there 7 gigahertz. Isn't that incredible? No, it's just can't do it.
I
Can't
used to love
do it.
overclocking just as an amateur
Yeah.
who didn't know anything. Because I would get a
Oh man, the
graphics card.
Celeron 300A was the best thing. I mean, you'd get Pentium 3 450 performance, and it would run. It was great. Slap it in there, overclock it. You're good
And
to
it was
go.
fun to overclock too.
Think about the old
Back
days
then you had to think
before
about stuff.
the intelligent boosting of everything. Graphics card overclocking used to be a lot of fun. You could push higher frequencies and give it a little bit more voltage and find a stable memory overclock. And now it's like, oh, my GPU already is going as fast as it pretty much can. Unless I go all
Back in
liquid.
my day, I used to
Right.
have to flip dip switches and do math to overclock my processor.
And that's
And overclocking
you could
memory
almost-
on GPUs is so useless.
it's just,
Moving along.
yeah.
Sad.
Okay, the best new Aliens game, Jeremy. What is it?
I mean, I don't know that it's going to be this.
You said in the title, technically
technically,
the best new Aliens game. So tell me
because
how
there's
it's
the
not.
waiting.
only new Aliens game.
We've-
There is literally
we've been
no other new
waiting.
Aliens games.
So long. Can it
Okay,
just
the-
not suck?
Very, very briefly, totally aside here. I happen to have a copy of Acclaim's All-Star Baseball 2001 on N64, and the box says, this is the big selling point, the only new baseball game this year.
Yes.
It's like, wow, it's the only option. I should buy this. So
and
I
by
guess-
default, the best.
yeah, like this. Like, Alien
Can this not
Fire
suck,
Team
please?
Elite is the best because it's the only option.
Yeah. I mean, the last good one they had was Alien Isolation, which was a totally different type of Aliens game that had ever been done before. I mean, the lack of firearms kind of obvious there. But I mean, it's one of those franchises where the original one that came out was amazing. It did things that had never been done before. There never had been like a hunter versus or one versus everyone else, where you played the alien and you were hunting down the Marines. And as I watched a video not too long ago, they figured that on a straight out run, the alien that they had in there, which could move on any surface whatsoever, could hit about 280 mile an hour. And I believe it, because you could rush in, grab somebody, kill them, and be gone before they had a chance to even spin around. So you had this great, legacy, and then there was most of the other ones, like, let's not mention Colonial Marines. Apparently, if you delete a spelling mistake in an INI, it gets slightly better, but it's still ugly as shite. This one is third person, as you can see from the screenshots. It is a squad-based sort of battlefield and COD blops and everything else. And you've got, I believe it's 5 different classes to choose from, each of which are customizable, and stop me if this sounds familiar. But apparently, facing endless hordes of aliens is actually kind of fun for some people. I mean, I certainly enjoyed it back in the old days where it was just 2 people against the hordes of aliens in the multiplayer, which was fun. So, it could be kind of fun. The reviews are not 100% horrific, which is, a big step up from most of the other ones. So, maybe it's worth checking it out. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But it is the only one.
And it's on PC. It's not exclusive to the N64.
No, it's on a bunch of things. I think you can get it on a Switch if you want to.
If you haven't noticed, we're moving seamlessly on to the review section. Brett is using a microphone from HyperX called the Quadcast. And I was using that too until I got this. They sent me the Quadcast S to review, and I've been using it off and on ever since. And it sounds the same. It's the same microphone element.
But it's blue.
But yeah, I have it this sort of...
Well, his is blue.
It's supposed to be teal. To my eyes, it looks teal. I don't have the color balance totally correct here. I was going for like a PC.
It's more of a robin's egg,
thing.
to be honest.
Okay. Well, the idea was kind of the bluish, greenish PC per colors, but they're not exactly correct because I don't have very many shades of RGB on these light strips. That's neither here nor there. Let's forget about RGB. What if you had this kind of sound, which I think these microphones sound great.
So do I.
I don't know if I sound great, but I think the microphones have very good sound. Looking at Google here, I just searched HyperX Quadcast. You can see that the Quadcast S is $159, and the original sells for about $129 to $139. But over here on the right, there's this thing called the SoloCast, which is only $59.99. So what's that all about? Well, they sent one. And I was testing it the other day, and I wrote this review. I took this picture right in my living room where I was testing it. I had it right by the window there and was enjoying myself. It's just saying complete nonsense into the microphone and recording it with Audacity. Recordings which will never be heard by any living thing, ever, because I deleted them. But I listened to them, and I subjectively decided the sound is very good. In fact, it sounds just like this. It sounds like a Quadcast, but only in one mode, because what you're getting from this little mic, which is about 5 inches tall and stands closer to 7 in its little built-in stand here, it's unidirectional. It's cardioid pickup pattern only. There are 4 patterns you can select with the original Quadcast and Quadcast S. This one just gives you that cardioid pattern. So you have fewer mic elements in here. It doesn't do like stereo pickup or any of that stuff. So if you just want good quality standard microphone, this is very tempting at this price level. Still has the tap to mute at the top.
Oh, huh.
It still has an LED indication. It's just this soft light here on the front above the HyperX logo. Obviously, this does not light up here. So it's less flashy, but you don't need to run any special software or anything for it. It's USB-C. It doesn't take over your computer as the sound card. There's no headphone output on it like there is on the Quadcast. It's just a microphone. So, and you can add it to a boom arm or a different stand if you want to. It has standard threading on the bottom of it. if you want to take it out of its little stand. And the short version of this was that I thought it sounded great, rich, full range sound, plenty of bass, good detail, some background noise rejection. It's not like super directional like a high LPR 40 is, but it's $59. And actually, when I was looking it up on Amazon, it's only $49 right now. So apparently it does go on sale. I think for about $50, as good as this sounds, it sounds like a quadcast in the cardioid mode. So $59. And it's small.
That's nice.
It seems like a good deal. The only other thing that it lacks is the isolation that these mounts sort of, lend, so that you win, hanging on the desk or something.
The shock mount that it's in.
The shock mount.
And that makes a difference. So if you're tapping on the desk or if you bump it, you're definitely going to hear it more than you would. And I also noticed, I don't think I put that in the review. I think I forgot to mention that the tap to mute on these is pretty much silent. When you tap to mute on the SoloCast, it's like, you ever have one of those old Radio Shack microphones with a switch on the side? When you switch it off, you hear like a clunk, and then the audio goes away. That is the kind of sound. You actually hear like, and then like this, I don't know how to describe it. This was very high sensitivity. I mentioned in the review, I had to turn the gain down to like 50%. So go into Windows and drag the slider down to about 50, unless it's really far away from you, because otherwise you're going to be clipping. So anyway, give it the gold award. Check it out. We've reached picks of the week.
The end.
Not the end yet. It's not the end yet. Josh, please tell us what we should buy.
Well, I just saw this today. $300 off. Okay, it's a 65-inch LG C1 OLED. I got the same model at 55 inches for less than $1,500. So not only is this one now $300 off, which takes it down to $1,800, but they'll throw in a $150 gift card. So if you're going to buy anything else from Newegg, it's essentially $1,650, about $200 more than the 55-inch.
Hey, plus a 3-year protection plan.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah. It's whenever you buy things, you just buy it, and you shouldn't look back. Click on 55. Just let's see if the 55 is on sale now.
Do you really want to know?
Yes, I want to know. So I can yell.
You're about to see a grown man cry on...
Wait, see pricing cart.
See pricing cart.
That means it must be really low. And it still has the gift card.
Yep. I'm
going to click on it. $14.96.
No, that's it's a $150 gift card's big, but that's about what I paid for it. So, yeah. But anyway, I love my 55-inch. I probably would like a 65, but I'll take what, I'm going to be happy with what I have.
Jeremy, you've got like a paragraph here.
Jeremy.
I mean, the second one is funnier and just makes me laugh, but the first one is kind of amusing. There is a script that you can grab from link over at Bleeping Computer, which will let you, if for some reason you want to, install Windows 11 on a machine that isn't running TPM 2.0, that doesn't meet the CPU specs, doesn't have secure boot enabled, and other things proving that Windows 11's touted built-in security requirements are cloudy. We will say
fluff. Complete fluff. Is what you're saying?
Vaporware, sort of. Yeah. I mean, good Lord, I don't know why you would want to, but on the plus side, if you've never run into a Universal Media Creation Tool, it is a great wrapper. So if you want to set up your own custom Windows 10 build with a bunch of stuff already wrapped into it, like Microsoft used to be able to do with the bundle stuff, you can pretty much do it for any sort of version, and sort of pick at boot which version you want to pick, up to and including different versions. So if you want to go back to the Windows 10 1908, you can do that, and you can install it from scratch there, because you found that going to 20H1 makes your machine explode. I don't know why you would want to do this, but the plus, on the other hand, if you're testing this out on VMs, much to no one's shock whatsoever, Microsoft's suggestion that no, TPM 2.0 won't be required on VMs, so you'll be able to install and test it, and it's not like you can install TPM 0.2 on virtual machine. It depends on whatever actually it's running on, whether it supports it or not. So yeah, if you really, really want to, you can do this. But I honestly think it's much funnier that Microsoft Store will be having an Epic app on it, the Epic Games app. So you'll be able to run itch.io, which is now available on Epic from Microsoft. So your gaming platform is now 3 levels deep, because obviously there's a lot of separation between them. And I just think this is utterly and completely ridiculous.
But Jeremy, it gets 5 stars with 1 rating.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the guy from Epic rating it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the guy from itch.io.
Or it's just photoshopped.
Well, it probably is, because it doesn't exist yet. But yeah, it's apparently you can run a gaming platform on a different gaming platform on a different gaming platform if you need to, on a Windows 11 install that doesn't have TPM 2.0.
Z-Bit would be proud.
I guess he would, wouldn't he? It's an odd world, Josh.
Brett?
What do you got for us, Brett?
Look, I'm going to still keep pushing this 5.1 surround, and I've thought of something new to do with it. This is actually a very reasonably priced, very small, but very decent, high quality 5.1, if I can just speak, 5.1 surround speaker set from Klipsch for under $300. I first picked this up on Woot a little while ago, but they sold through. Newegg's got it now. And according to them, the Highline price on this was almost $1,300. I'm not sure that I believe it, but it's a bit of a stretch. It's good speakers. It's not $1,300 good. Still, it's a wireless sub, 2.4 gigahertz on the wireless sub. If you want to run it that way, it's possible to run it wired, but it is possible to tuck it into a corner and not have to run wires across, your floor if you wanted to run it that way. But my consideration for this is, hey, why don't we try and start to bring back the creative sound blasters of the world, or the EVGA sound cards of the world, and get people back on the 5.1 output from their computers, maybe non-optical, and run into a 5 amplifier, and start to bring real, spacious, room-filling 5.1 sound back to PC gaming. This is your gateway. $289. Bring it to your computer instead of the living room. Just throwing it out there as an idea. They need a sound card. They need a 5.1 amp. It's something cool for your PC that you probably haven't spent any money on yet. And if you're looking for an opportunity to spend more money on your gaming rig, this might be it. As long as you don't bother anyone else in the house.
And if so, they just suck it up.
Josh can't wait to get off of this show. And
Well, I still got some back pain, and so sitting here for a couple hours is...
Hey, it's only been an hour and a half-ish.
Yeah.
It's 11:28 Eastern. Let's just call it a show. Thanks for listening and or watching. We will talk at you again next week.
We'll be back.
Thank you. See you guys.
Good night.